Nvidia is the most valuable company on Earth, and almost everyone is wrong about how it actually makes its money. Ask 100 people what Nvidia does, and most will tell you the same thing. They make graphics cards for video games. That was true for most of the company's life. It is not true anymore. In its most recent full year, Nvidia pulled in $130.5 billion in revenue. Gaming, the business that built the brand, was about 9% of that. 88% came from something most gamers never touch: selling entire computers to a handful of the largest technology companies in the world to run artificial intelligence. Nvidia didn't grow its gaming business into a giant. It quietly became a completely different company, and it happened in about 4 years. Rewind to fiscal 2021. Nvidia's total revenue that year was under $17 billion, and gaming was the biggest single slice of it, bigger than the data center business. If you'd looked at the company then, graphics card maker was a fair description. Then two waves hit in a row. First, crypto miners discovered that Nvidia's chips were fantastic at mining, and demand spiked and then crashed. That was the head fake. The real wave was artificial intelligence. It turned out that the same math a graphics card uses to draw explosions in a game, thousands of small calculations happening at the same time, is exactly the math you need to train a neural network. Nvidia's chips weren't repurposed for AI by accident. For years, quietly, the company had been building the software and the hardware to make that possible, waiting for the moment the rest of the world would need it. When ChatGPT lit the fuse, that moment arrived all at once. Every company that wanted to build AI needed the same thing, and only one company could supply it at scale. Watch what happened to the revenue. 17 billion, 27 billion, then 27 billion again, a flat year while the industry digested the crypto hangover. Then 61 billion, then 130 billion. In 2 years, the company more than quadrupled. There is almost no precedent for a company this large growing this fast. And here's the part that matters. That growth did not come from selling more graphics cards to more gamers. It came from a single new customer type, the AI data center, that barely existed on Nvidia's books 5 years earlier. So what is Nvidia actually selling into those data centers? Not really a chip. It's selling a system. When Microsoft or Meta wants to build an AI cluster, they don't buy one Nvidia processor. They buy racks of them, wired together with Nvidia's own high-speed networking, running Nvidia's software, cooled and configured as a unit. The graphics card you can buy for your gaming PC and the AI system Nvidia sells to a cloud company share a family resemblance, but one costs a few $100s, and the other can cost tens of thousands per chip, sold by the tens of thousands. That's how a company goes from 17 billion to 130 billion without your local electronics store looking any different. The customer changed. The product changed. Only the logo stayed the same. Now for the question that actually decides whether Nvidia keeps this money. Why can't anyone else just build the same chip? Because the chip was never the point. Nvidia's real moat is software, and it's called CUDA. Back in 2006, years before anyone was talking about AI, Nvidia made a strange bet. It started giving away a free software platform that let programmers use its graphics chips for general math, not just graphics. For a long time, this looked like a waste of money. But every university lab, every researcher, every student who learned to program these chips learned to do it in CUDA. An entire generation of AI was built on top of it. Today, when a researcher writes code to train a model, that code assumes Nvidia underneath. The tools, the libraries, the tutorials, the years of accumulated tricks, all of it lives in Nvidia's ecosystem. A competitor can build a chip that matches Nvidia's raw speed. What they can't easily build is 15 years of software that everyone already knows how to use. Switching away isn't just buying a different box. It's rewriting your code, retraining your people, and betting your project on an unproven stack. Most companies look at that cost and quietly place another Nvidia order. Here's the second thing almost nobody realizes. Nvidia doesn't actually make its chips. It doesn't own the factories. Nvidia is what's called a fabless company. It designs the chip, and a separate company in Taiwan, TSMC, physically manufactures it. Nvidia's value isn't in machines and factory floors. It's in the design and the software, the blueprint and the ecosystem. That's a deliberate choice, and it's a big reason the profits look the way they do. When you don't carry the enormous cost of building and running chip factories, and you sell something the whole world is scrambling for, your margins get extraordinary. And they are extraordinary. Nvidia's gross margin, the share of revenue left after the direct cost of what it sells, recently ran around 75%. For every dollar of AI hardware it ships, roughly 75 cents is gross profit. Compare that to a normal hardware company which might keep 20 or 30 cents, and you can see that Nvidia isn't really being paid for silicon and metal. It's being paid for scarcity and for software that has no real substitute. That is a software margin wearing a hardware costume. This is the cleanest way to understand the whole business. Nvidia is selling picks and shovels in a gold rush. During an actual gold rush, the people who reliably got rich weren't the miners. Most of them went broke. It was the ones selling the tools every miner had to buy. Right now, every major technology company is racing to strike gold in AI. Some of them will win. Most of the money-losing ones will not. But almost all of them are buying their shovels from the same store. Nvidia doesn't have to bet on which AI company wins. It gets paid when any of them tries. Whether the future belongs to one AI giant or 10, they will all need the hardware. And for now, there's essentially one supplier who can hand it to them at scale, with the software already baked in. That is the most valuable position in the entire industry, and Nvidia spent 15 years quietly building it before the rest of the world noticed. So if the moat is this deep and the margins are this fat, what could possibly go wrong? Two things, and they're hiding in plain sight inside Nvidia's own financial filings. The first is customer concentration. All those billions are not coming from millions of buyers. They're coming from a tiny handful. In its most recent year, Nvidia disclosed that 2 single customers each accounted for more than 10% of its total revenue, roughly 12% and 11%. A large share of the rest flows through just a few giant cloud companies: Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta. That's a beautiful business when those companies are spending freely. It's a dangerous one if even one or two of them decide to slow down, or to build their own chips instead, which quietly several of them are already trying to do. When your customers are that big and that few, they have leverage, and someday they'll use it. The second risk is that this level of spending has to be justified by results. The cloud giants are pouring tens of billions into Nvidia hardware on the belief that AI will eventually earn it all back. If that payoff comes slower than promised, the first thing they cut is next year's hardware order, and Nvidia's revenue is that hardware order. This is the quiet fragility underneath the record numbers. Nvidia's growth depends on other companies' willingness to keep making an enormous, unproven bet. So far, they keep making it. The moment they hesitate, it shows up in Nvidia's revenue almost immediately. Now step back, because there's a lesson here that's bigger than one company. The most valuable business in the world right now doesn't make the product you associate it with. It got there not by selling to consumers, but by selling the essential tool that everyone else in the industry needs. And its deepest advantage isn't the thing it's famous for, the chip. It's the boring software layer that quietly locks everyone in. When you're trying to understand how any company really makes money, that's the pattern to look for. Ask what a company is actually selling, not what it's famous for. Ask who the real customer is, and ask what the switching cost is, because that invisible cost is usually where the profit lives. Nvidia figured all of that out a decade before the market did. It built the shovels, it built the software everyone would need to use the shovels, and then it waited. So the next time someone tells you Nvidia is a company that makes graphics cards for gamers, you'll know that's the part of the story they wanted you to see. The real business is selling the entire foundation of artificial intelligence to a handful of the richest companies on Earth, at 75 cents of profit on the dollar. Everyone thinks Nvidia makes money selling graphics cards. It hasn't, for years.